If it is not there, I don't need it. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Pranam, pranam, pranam. Hari Om to everybody. Before we take up some shlokas, we thought we should remind ourselves of the importance of the day. Today is the 92nd Jayanti of our ashram. At least let us remember this day. So we will try to go through the words of Papa when the inauguration took place. This is called out from In the Vision of God. You know what had happened at Kasaragod Ashram on the previous night when God brought out the circumstances in such a way that Papa and Mataji leave the place immediately. So after a few days stay, Ramdas and Krishna Bhai, at the invitation of T. Bhavani Shankar Rao, came to Manchapati or Ramnagar, now known as Ramnagar, for the opening ceremony of his newly built house at this place. It is very near to that big hospital. No? T. Bhavani Shankar Rao and others pressed Ramdas to have an ashram built near the Manchapati hill, which place was discovered to be not only solitary, nowadays it has also become a suburban, but also possessing all the scenic grandeur of the countryside. The selection of the spot for the construction of Anandashram has indeed a deep significance. Without knowing the antecedents of the place, Ramdas was prompted to choose it intuitively. He later discovered that the place which is known as Manchapati was at one time covered with a thick forest and that sadhus and sannyasis were doing tapasya in it, in the nearby hill. It was also said that the hill is sacred because in olden days there was on it a temple and a tank, faint traces of which are still to be seen. Tradition has it too that Hanuman, when he was returning to Lanka, carrying the hill of Dronachala, dropped a portion of it at this spot, and that portion forms the present hill. In this connection, Ramdas can say definitely that God must have had strong reasons for directing his servant Ramdas to this place. Both Hanuman and he were the votaries of the same name, Ram, and both were born on the same day in the Hindu calendar year. This cannot be a matter of mere coincidence. It must be part of a plan divinely ordained. That probably accounts for the visions that some devotees occasionally get of Sri Hanumanji visiting the Bhajan Mandir of the ashram. One such was vouchsafed in the early years of the ashram to Srimati Devi Bai alias Appi Bai. She related to us one day a wonderful vision she had when she slept in the ashram Bhajan Mandir. She saw a huge figure of a monkey entering the bhajan hall, walking up to the asan, prostrating before it, and then leaving the back door. The vision had made such a deep impression on her mind that when she was relating it, she felt highly elated, for she thought it was Hanuman himself who had given her his darshan. Agreeing to the suggestion of the friends, he decided to have an ashram erected on a small hillock by the side of a towering hill, the highest in the range. At once God, who gave the idea, set him to work for accomplishing it. He wrote appeals for funds to the innumerable friends all over India with whom he had come in contact during his itinerant life for making up the cost of the new ashram. The encouragement and help he received on all sides was simply marvelous. Within a month of his arrival at Mamnagar, the work of erecting the ashram building was started. The friends who offered the suggestion heartily joined. The ashram was begun only 3 months before the breaking of the monsoon. So the work had to be hurried on. In 3 months, the main ashram building and an outhouse behind it were completed. While to the right side of the ashram, there was a chain of undulating hills. In front, there lay extensive grounds formed by groves of trees and cornfields. To the left, the vision can sweep over about 4 miles, a vast plateau covered with thick vegetation, plains, scattered houses, having at the far end the Arabian Sea with its blue expanse of water. Behind the ashram are rows of hills covered over with verdant growth, having on both sides beautiful coconut tops whose crests wave majestically in the strong breeze that blows over them from the sea. To stand out on the ashram hill and cast a look around means to present to the sight of a most fascinating picture of nature dressed in her variegated colors. When the sun is midway in the heavens and its rays are reflected on the waters of the sea, it looks as though a vast sheet of silver is shining at a distance. After a few monsoon rains, when the green grass, like a mantle, spreads all over the hills and plains, the surroundings offer a bewitching sight to the onlooker. The atmosphere prevailing at the ashram and over the surrounding land is surcharged with perfect calmness and peace. The opening celebration of the new ashram, which is also named Anandashram, was held on the 15th May 1931. Today is 15th May 2023. In response to the invitation, hundreds of people from different parts of India assembled for the occasion. You can slow down the bhajan, kirtan, feast, distribution of food, etc. to the poor went on for 10 days. 10 days. The hills of Ramnagar resounded with the thrilling music of the Lord's glorious names. From Maharashtra, about half a dozen devotees attended the function. Janardhan Pant, Raghunath Maharaj, Govind Ram Krishna Joshi, Krishnaji, Pandarinath and Madhurao Kulkarni were among them. These devotees took wholehearted part in the bhajans and kirtans. At the opening ceremony, as requested by the assembled devotees and friends, Ramdas delivered a short speech. Briefly put, it ran as follows. Ramdas has the supreme delight to speak to you today a few words at the inauguration of this holy ashram. The ideal which the ashram holds before it is universal love and service based upon a vision of divinity in all beings and creatures of the world. Here every man, woman or child, to whatever denomination, creed or caste the person may belong, shall have free access. This is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service so that what is realized within its walls may prove as an example for the right conduct of human life in the outside world. The Lord is our help and guide in all matters. May He, with all His bounty, shower His blessings on the great service which this home of love and bliss has undertaken to discharge. Now, this portion is very important for all of us. Unknowingly, we may not give much importance for this. The moment we come to the ashram, it would not have come to our knowledge that this is the message He delivered to us. Only sometime during 2009, after Puja Swamiji's Samadhi, it struck to us that this should be made known to everybody. That is how the board has come in front of the Centenary Hall. Because visitors as well as ashram devotees, even senior devotees, they may not have read this. Even if they have read, they would not remember. This is a very important point, When we are drawn by Papa to this ashram, we should know the purpose for which we have been drawn here. We used to come, we used to chant, we used to take part, we go back. But the ideal of the ashram, it did not get registered. So here in clear-cut words, he says, the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service. It is not social service. It is not individual to individual or organization to organization. It should be purely based upon the vision of divinity in all. That means what is common in all of us has to be identified. That is why later we put two and two together. How do I have vision of divinity? So when he brought out the triune path, Nam Seva Dhyan, then we put two and two together really, because in this he has not mentioned. So through Nam Seva Dhyan, It is expected that these devotees or aspirants would like to move on this line. On what line? To have the vision of divinity in everybody. The common factor in all of us. Because the moment that common factor is identified, we cannot but love, we cannot but serve others. The absence of otherness will come only when this commonness is identified. Just like a mother identifies or a father identifies with their children, not with other children. Because there is a common thing between them, So that is how God gave us first this family, to have the taste of extending ourselves from the individual to another individual. And here, the whole family, the whole humanity, the whole universe is taken as one family. And so the commonness in all of them is the divinity. Kindly think about it. On this day, at least we will think about it seriously. And pray to Him to enable us to live up to it. And another point here, this is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service, so that what is realized within its walls may prove as an example for the right conduct of human life in the outside world. So when we visit this ashram, when we go through these words, we will be totally free from any grumblings and complaints. Inadequacy or insufficiency we will not have in our mind. Because here we are coming, where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service. If something is found not to be all right, we will treat it as our own home and try to set it right, rather than complaining. There won't be any grumblings and complaints. The first lesson Papa is teaching us. And then, the Lord is our help and guide in all matters. Reliance on God and God alone. That is another unique feature of this ashram. And then, finally, may He with all His bounty shower His blessings on the great service with this home of love and bliss. So we should know that Anandashram is a home of love and bliss. So on the inauguration day, Papa gives us salient points. At that time we did not know. When we started coming here, we did not know. Probably those who have been blessed to go through in the vision of God, they might have gone through it. But whether it has drawn their attention, we don't know. Because nowhere it was mentioned. Nowhere it was discussed. And unlike other ashram, we don't have any festivals or celebration. So there is no chance for anybody, any new visitor to know that this was inaugurated on the 15th. I just now checked up the old vision. 1933 it started, no? Whether any mention about May 1934? No. Anyhow, that is okay. Now at least Papa has made us to think about it. Every day morning before we go for this flower offering, we come here to pay our respects to Puja Swamiji. Every time we look at the board, we are reminded. Are we moving in this direction? At least 1 inch more. These 4 aspects. One is that The idea of the ashram is broaden the love circle and serve everybody, okay? For that, with the present equipment, I will not be able to do it because the me and mine is very, very strong. So I must see the common denominator, common factor in everybody. I must try. That means the vision of divinity in everybody. And then, when I come here, I must also know that an effort has to be made to develop mutual love and service. And another point is purely relying on God and God alone. And then I must always remind myself, ashram is a home of love and bliss. When the Mahatmas were present, even if we have not gone through, it was not necessary, because they are the embodiments of all these things. To have their darshan and to be in their company, that itself is sufficient. But now that the Mahatmas have dropped the body, we have to remind ourselves of the purpose. Otherwise, we may lose track. This is the fundamental thing, If anybody comes, if you have to explain everything, what is ashram, the first thing you should say is the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity. This is what our master said, not that we said. Because we have not reached that stage. So our effort is to now experience the presence of the divinity in everybody. So that we will refine ourselves, we will transcend the limitations set by the sense of individuality, and will be able to mentally embrace the whole creation. So whenever you happen to meet anybody or share anything, kindly share this particular one. Papa has clearly and simple words brought out these points. So on the Jayanti day of our ashram, we are prompted from within to remember this, to remind ourselves. You may be doing this and that, okay, that's all right. But are you clear about the idea of the ashram? Are you clear about the methodology to reach the ideal? Are you clear about how you should behave when you are in the ashram? Are you clear about what sort of attitude you should develop about the ashram? Home of love and bliss. We may fail, we may forget, but if we make a constant effort, probably we might be able to move towards it. Krishna Bai, although greatly weakened by the injury she had sustained at the Kasaragod ashram, brought all her rare skill and indefatigable energy to bear upon the management of the function. Every program was gone through with exactness and regularity. It must be admitted that Krishna Bai is a born organizer and exhibits in all things her wonderful capacity of handling difficult situations. For soon after the opening of the buildings, torrential rains accompanied by thunder, lightning and storm swept over the ashram building. But the radiant and ever-calm figure of Krishna Bai was moving about in the assemblage like an angel, ministering the minutest wants of all. None of the visitors went without her special care and service. In short, she had her maternal eye upon all alike. We remember them with gratitude, no? At the time of the opening of the ashram, we had the most illuminating saints sayings of the great religious teachers of the world, neatly written out in block letters on thick sheets of paper in English, Sanskrit, and Marathi. And these were framed and hung up on the walls of the bhajan hall. Also, the Rama Mantra was painted on the walls in different languages. Anyway, then it goes on, so many things. So the most important thing on the 15th day is that Papa wants us to remind ourselves about the ideal of the ashram and what is expected of us to develop here. That we should remember the reliance on God. And the moment the ashram comes, all of us have positive views of ashram only. But a little more sweeter will be there if we remember it is a home of love and bliss. We are all privileged ones because our masters have given us something of it. We would not have understood the complete one, but they have given us something of all these things after we started coming here or the moment we started coming here. So we pray to them from our bottom of the heart. Mentally do sashtanga pranams at their holy feet and pray to them. We are the beneficiaries of all the facilities you have provided. We remember now when we go through these words, what was ashram in 1931 and what is ashram now in 2023. What all comforts you have given us. You have placed before us your inspiring life and mission. You have made us to enjoy Ram Nam. You have made us to taste the sweetness of love and bliss to some extent. But now we also understand our ultimate aim is to see the divinity in everybody. Kindly help us. All of us are sincere about it. All of us are earnest about it. Somewhere, something, our karmic bondage, or probably even our lethargy, or our lack of clarity might have prevented us. Kindly remove all these things from our mind and make us to commit ourselves to have the vision of divinity in everybody. Hari Om. Anybody would like to say anything? Oh?
Sir, it is the most beautiful place on the surface of the earth we have visited so far from here.
Yeah.
Of all the places, ashram is the best place we have visited.
That is right. No, we are talking about our sadhana, no? Anyhow, coming back to our...
Sriram Bhai used to tell us that the 15th May was the ashram inaugurated.
Sriram Bhai, that is Shuddhanand Swamiji used to tell them 15th May is the inauguration day of ashram.
Okay.
Always he used to tell us.
Very good.
So we remember.
We remember the day, but these points also we have to keep on reminding. That the ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity. The Lord is our sole refuge and help. An effort will be made to develop mutual love and service.
We are getting love from everybody.
Not that we are new to this, but we have to remind so that the sweetness can be enjoyed further.
So telling one more thing. The Centenary Hall, that place was Pudlal Chandrapachi's house. There was.
Long back?
Pudlal Chandrapachi.
Pudlal Chandrapachi.
There is now Centenary Hall. Previously there was a big house. Pudlal Chandrapachi's house.
Some Chandrapachi's house was here, Centenary Hall.
Where my father-in-law and my mother-in-law and all family used to stay.
Oh, maybe.
This place.
In chapter one devotee has written about chapter number 18, sloga number 59. यदहंकारमाश्रित्य नयोस्य इति मन्यसे मिथ्यैष व्यवसायस्ते प्रकृतिस्त्वां नियोक्ष्यति. Even if you don't, Sri Krishna says, even if you don't want to fight, you will be made to fight. Here, the simple answer to this, as quoted by many, is that all of us have brought our own swabhava by our previous samskara, our vasanas. As we have been told, the life is given by God, but body, mind, intellect has been given to us by God based upon our previous karmic bondage. So that is our swabhava. That is why for the same parents we have got children of different characteristics. Though the instrumental cause is the parent, we know that the Adi Bijam, the first seed is, God says, I am that. So God has given us this life. Our parents are only the instrumental cause. And the body, mind, intellect is based upon, shaped according to our previous janma. So here, in Arjuna's case, he is a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means, he has inherited or he has brought forward the Kshatriya Swabhava. So even if he says, I will not fight, you cannot keep quiet. It will make you to fight. So for us to take, whenever there is which is against our Swadharma, though we may feel I will not do it, I will be forced to do it. Not that that is the inherent quality.
Is it vasana?
So when we try to remember God, and when we graduate gradually, and slowly when we hand over the ownership, the doership, the sufferership, the enjoyership, we have been promised that we will be freed from the clutches of our karmika. So whenever we feel there is a tussle in our mind, I don't want to do it, but I am compelled to do it. I am dragged to it. So then we say, if we attribute it to ourselves, then the problem continues. But suppose we feel God makes me to do it. God prompts me to do it. God decided that I should do it. God assigned me this, do it. So through all these aspects, when we try to do that, we have been promised that slowly the hold of our karmic wrangle will get loosened. We won't say 100%, but it gets loosened. And in the next birth, we are sure to associate ourselves with godly thoughts, godly actions, godliness. And that will help us to move further towards Him. These are all what the assurance given by Bhagavad Gita. So let us try our best. Try to bring out. Whenever there is an inner conflict, we should know it is a conflict because of our previous samskara. And God makes us to know certain things. So there will be a tussle there. So we may act as prompted from within, but at the same time we try to bring in the God dimension as much as possible. We can take the message as like that. Another chapter, another sloka. Here, in the 5th chapter,
chapter. Atma Samyam.
6th chapter, 5th sloka. उद्धरेद आत्मनात्मानं नात्मानम अवसादयेत आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बंधुर आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. It's also very important for all of us. Let us see what Ranganathanji says. We should know that in this 15th chapter we have come to know about the Devi forces and the Asuric Sampatan. The downpulling forces as well as the elevating forces are there for all of us. If I go along with the elevating forces, then I become a friend to myself. If I go along with the Asuric forces, I am an enemy to myself. So both, the role I play. He has given us a sense of freedom by which to choose. Though ultimately everything happens by His will, He is giving us a sense of freedom. So that is pointed out by God here. Raise yourself by yourself. Don't let yourself down. For you alone are your friend, you alone are your enemy. If we read this, the first thing that comes to our mind, we will not complain about anybody. We will not blame anybody. We will not find fault with anybody. That is why it is very important. There is a wonderful utterance here. We always have the tendency to put our troubles as coming from somebody else. Same thing. And today, especially in modern civilization, this is a constant attitude of mind. Why am I like this? My father or mother was bad, society is bad, God is bad. You put every blame on others and assert inwardly that I am myself not responsible for anything. As regards civilization, even children say today that if anything is wrong with them, their parents are responsible. I have no responsibility, therefore I can escape all blame. As against it, it is good to have this new idea. Uddared Atmanatmanam. Raise yourself by oneself. Suppose you received some bad treatment when you were young, well, you can overcome the bad effects. Have that positive, raise oneself by oneself. Do not allow yourself to be jostled by others all the time. I had this misfortune, I have experienced. Now I have to overcome it. That strength is within me. God has given me that strength. With that faith in oneself, those unhealthy ideas go away. Throwing the blame on everybody else. No. Why did you fail in the exam? Teachers did not teach. It is true these days in India, every teacher does not teach well. Or the question paper was very heavy and the questions were not covered by adequate teaching. All these answers were given. But there is also another answer. I did not study well. That answer nobody gives. It is good for people to give that answer. I did not study well. I take the blame on myself. I shall correct myself. That gives you strength. That gives you a sense of personal worth. Na atmanam avasadayet. Don't pull oneself down. Why? Atmaeva hi atmano bandhu. One's self is one's own friend. Atma eva ripuratmana. Oneself is one's own enemy. Verily true, I am my own friend, I am my own enemy. Even if somebody troubles me, if I don't lodge it into my mind, if somebody troubles me, if I don't lodge it into my mind, it will not trouble me at all. If I take it, it will trouble me. So my taking it, my accepting it is responsible for this trouble. Don't take it. Try to keep it away from yourself. That strength we don't have. So we are influenced by everything else. Hence it is good to develop that inner strength. It is just like what we say in the medical language. You may have a number of microbes around you which can cause disease in you. But if you are strong in physics, no disease will come to you. No microbe will do any harm. So strengthen yourself. That is what Sri Krishna teaches. Make yourself big in your own way. That is why, he says, when India was striving for political freedom, the first group of political leaders said, please give us freedom as a gift. Then came the real movement from Lokmanya Tilak of Indian National Congress, who uttered the mantra, Swaraj is my birthright. I shall have it. It was that, when followed, which brought ultimately freedom to our country. Depend upon yourself. Don't depend upon others. You are making yourself small by depending on others. Make yourself big in your own way. That is why it finally ended in Gandhiji's Quit India movement in 1942, and within 5 years the country became free. So too in personal life, it is the same story. But when then we begin to question this idea, I can be my own friend, but how can be I my own enemy? My enemy must be somebody else. That is answered the next. So we will combine that also. Bandhuratmanam yenatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanatu shatrutve vartet atmaiva shatruvade. One becomes one's own friend when one has conquered oneself. But to the unconquered self, he or she is inimical, like external enemy. What is this conquering, Ego. Weakness, when my cravings come, I should be able to stand. People may tempt us. Advertisements are so many enticers, attracts us. But if I have the firm ground, I will not be swayed this way or that way. Think about it. Let us see what Swamiji says. These are profound psychological insights embedded in these words. When you discipline the sensory system, the psychic system, you develop great character strength. Then you become your own friend. That means the senses have a habit of dragging us to the sense field, sense objects. But in second chapter he said, like a tortoise, we should be able to withdraw ourselves, whenever there is a danger. If I am going to slip, I must move away from that place. This is the practical side. Another side is, with all the strength, we are in the midst of it, but we will not get affected. Suppose we have taken a vrata or resolve. This I will not do. We will not make a fuss about it. We will, as far as possible, try not to reveal this to anybody. But a challenging time comes when you are requested or prompted or motivated by others to join. At that time you have these two. That's what we have seen in the practical life. Either you move away from it, or be there and don't allow it to lodge itself. As he said, no? Don't allow it to occupy your mind. Positive indifference. Krishna wants men and women to be psychically mature. I have to take the responsibility on myself. It is my responsibility. When you do something wrong, for example, some punishment is given. Yes, I have done wrong, I take the punishment. There is nothing wrong in imparting that punishment to me. That punishment may bring a trauma in the human mind is a modern fiction. Any kind of punishment, even a scolding, can create a trauma in the weak human mind, and therefore don't punish, don't scold. That is not right. That is what has made the human mind very weak today. There is no need for it. Well, I have done wrong, I will pay for it. It is okay, the matter is over. That is how inner strength comes from discipline. Such people can develop high character. So these two verses are important, Uddared and this one. If children bite their tongue, it pains them, they complain against their mother for it. If you have bitten your own tongue, lay the blame on yourself. Don't lay it on somebody else. In this way, you have to build up your inner strength. The more you build up the inner strength, the less you will complain against others. The more you put blame on others, you become weaker and weaker. A little strength must come to the nation, to the people. Yes, I have done it, I shall not do it again. That is called manliness, a strong attitude. If I have done wrong, I have to pay for it. Being punished, I am glad to pay the penalty. Sri Krishna is introducing in these two verses these beautiful techniques. Raise yourself by yourself. Don't let yourself down, for you are your own friend, you are your own enemy. Those who can discipline their inner energies, they become their own friends. Those who cannot do so, they become, as it were, their own enemy. So don't be an enemy to yourself. That is the instruction Sri Krishna gives to all of us. That is how we build up our inner strength. And I personally feel that every child must be told, you are your own friend, you are your own enemy. That will give them more and more inner strength. At present it is not there. Always the accusing finger points to somebody else. That person troubles me, this person or that child troubles me, that must change. So that children develop their inner strength. So the Bhagavad Gita tells every parent to teach this. So this teaching of Sri Krishna is supremely significant for all children in today's society. There are three sources of strength in every human being. The first is muscular, bahubalam. That is the most ordinary and palpable form. The second is buddhibalam, intellectual strength. But these two are very ordinary. The second is better than the first. And even the second is useless in the world in which we live. So there is a third source of strength in it. This is called Atma Balam, Yoga Balam. Strength coming from one's own spiritual development. Strength that comes only from Atman. That is supreme strength. So Bahubalam, Buddhibalam, Atma Balam. We do need to develop all these three balams in our children. Let them do exercise, let them play games, let the body be developed. Similarly, let them study books, think, develop their minds and intellect. Be creative. That is very necessary, but let them not stop at that. Let them try to get a little spiritual strength from within themselves. With a little bit of Atma Balam, they can withstand the pressures from outside more and more. These are the wonderful ideas that come out of the 6th chapter of the Gita. These words, I personally feel children must hear. So by the time they are, I can depend upon my inner strength. So these two slogas. It's good that it has been pointed out. Actually, the moment we come to 6th, we go to this moderation, single-pointed, one-pointed concentration, moderation, and evenness. Mind control. We remember elaborate description has been given about how to sit for meditation, how to concentrate, all those things are there. But in our practical life, these are all very much needed. I should know that I am my own enemy, I am my own friend. So the moment I become aware of it, I will be careful whenever the mind goes down. I will ensure the mind always goes up. So in our chart we have to include this also, in the 6th chapter. This is very good. This is, if we can do that, every day, we will be able to improve our chart. Because certain things would not have struck to us. But God will prompt somebody to point it out. And that's why we said, when we all pool together, everybody will be the gainer. And today we received one more email, very, very interesting. We don't know whether we have got time, but still we will try. The relationship between, another devotee writes, in the recent satsang it has been pointed out, take up one shloka from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and do an in-depth study to establish a relationship between that shloka and the happenings in our day-to-day life. Very nice, This message has been working in our mind, and by the grace of Beloved Papa, the thought process has taken a final shape and is now ready for presenting to. The slogan is Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. Mate Sangosta Karmani. Your right is to work only and never to the fruit thereof. Be not instrument in making your action bear fruit, nor your attachment to inaction. The above sloka is now being related to the 3 common activities which are part of almost all families and householders. These are connected with studies, health, and marriage. Studies. Our duty is to study well and prepare well for writing the exams. We pray for His blessings to help us with good memory and presence of mind fare the exams well. Our actions, anxieties, worries should end here and leave the results to God. He will guide on the next course of action by suitable prompting. And the health. In case of illness of any health issues, it is our duty to consult a physician or a surgeon and obtain their advice on what to do next. We follow the advice, carry out the prescribed procedures, implement the day-to-day actions regarding diet, medicine, physiotherapy or exercises, and follow with periodical checkup. We pray to God for His blessings to make the patient recover fast and regain normal health. Thank Him for His grace. Our action should normally stop here. Very often many of us carry the worry further. Why should this suffering come? Will the ailment come back again? Will the person be as safe and as efficient as before? Any karmic influence, any parihara, etc., etc. Our surrender to God should be sincere and total, that there is no place for the above mentioned worries. We can all be peaceful and let others also be peaceful. By being worried, we transfer the worries also, which have no positive role to play, but cause only downpulling tendencies. Constant remembrance with His name, filling the mind, develop always positive thoughts. And looking for a life partner, marriage. Perform all the sequence of actions necessary with sincerity, honesty, and truthfulness, which result in a compatible partner and smooth conduct of marriage. Pray to all gods, elders in the families, and the ancestors for their blessings. We shall stop at this stage and leave the rest to God to help and protect the newlyweds for leading a peaceful and happy life. Our attitude should also change from treating them as children to treating them as mature adults. God takes care. The God thought should always linger in their mind. The above cited examples are very common in any family. Shloka number 47, chapter number 2, Srimad Bhagavad Gita presents a very practical and not so difficult method to implement in our day-to-day lives. Add divinity to all actions performed and not claiming the fruits of action. This attitude indirectly also helps in expansion of our mind from me and mine to we and him, progressing from the sense of individuality to cosmic reality. We remember that the above issues discussed are not unique to only our family, but happen in all families who struggle to arrive at a solution. So when we pray to God, pray for the welfare of all the families also, so that love blossoms with the absence of otherness. God help us move from utter confusion to peace and serenity. Further probing leads us to think that if he is the doer, it is rightfully he is the enjoyer of the fruits of action. When we perform any action and fill the mind with this thought, he fills the mind, he takes charge. Beautiful. We also remembered one more sloga when he has written. What is that? Bharta Bhokta cha Maheshwara.
Starting how it starts? Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. Anumanta.
Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, before Anumanta?
You know, he talks in the Gita. Upadrashta.
Upadrashta. That means God sees himself as an onlooker. He will not involve. Then when we do things, which are righteous, which are moral, ethically perfect, when we move towards that, then he starts congratulating us. Then we come to know he is the ruler. He is the force behind everything, Bharta. And therefore he is the Bhokta. Without him I cannot do anything. He makes me as an instrument to do a particular thing. So naturally the result is also his. And finally, when we reach that stage, we become him. So, Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, cha Maheshwara. I think there is some connection between this and that. So Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidanam Bijam Abhyam. Gadir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi, Nivasa. We can connect up. We can connect up, but ensure that it doesn't become an academic exercise. That's all. Immediately the meaning should come in our mind. And then we try to feel at least that particular moment. Probably this could be the way from slipping the mind into academics. The moment we utter a sloga, let us try to understand the meaning. Let us try to be in that meaning, at least during that particular time. So when we say Upadrashta, immediately we should know he is an onlooker, Sakshi. He does not get involved himself. He allows us to work, allows us to think, allows us to talk. Then Anumanta. When we are in line with that, compatible with our inner aspiration, when our actions are compatible with our inner aspiration, a touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of gratitude, touch of dedication, he congratulates us. That means we get a joy, That is congratulation. He doesn't come as a person and congratulates. There is a pleasant feeling welling up in our heart. And then suddenly we realize, if he is not there, I don't exist. Oh, Bharta. Then if he is not there, I am not there. That means whatever he makes me to do, it also belongs to him. And then, when we become one with the theme, at least for that particular second, we become Maheshwara. So when we read this sloka, if the meaning comes to us, first stage we have gone. Otherwise it will be purely superficial, unknowingly. Not that we mean it bad, but we will slip into another sloka, that's all. We are worried about sloka learning, Along with the sloka, for children, okay, they cannot understand the meaning, so first we request them to do it. But we should know first, If we go through this attempt, I feel Papa is guiding us. We need not bother about this chronological order and everything. Just like, everybody points out which sloka attracts us. Through that, then slowly we will understand every sloka must be having some deep meaning. Yesterday when Swami came and he was talking, they were concentrating on the first chapter. So he said the mind of Duryodhana, the mind of Dhritarashtra, that we were concentrating. They are also good people. But how the transformation took place and when what happens to me, I slowly slip into the negative aspect of Dhritarashtra. I slowly slip into the negative aspect of Duryodhana. But Duryodhana is not bad. Dhritarashtra is not bad. So when that thing came into when it started influencing, we know what is the result. It is a new approach. Then we told him, first sloka we stop. Because that itself says, my children and Pandava's children. Then he was also looking, then he said, oh, wow, that is also nice. So from that we could understand that if we all pull together with an open mind, then suddenly we remember this. We go to the Vibhuti Yoga or Vishwarupa Yodarshan, where all opposites are also mentioned, So I must be able to see God in Duryodhana, I must be able to see God in Dhritarashtra too. Initially I may not. If I concentrate only on the first chapter, this thing will be wholly against this. Even I may find fault with the stand taken by Bhishma and Drona, Kripacharya. Being righteous, why did they side with this unrighteous, All these things will come. Later on when we go through the entire, he says, I have already decided everything, you are only a nimittam. So what is inherent, what is intrinsic in every character is he and he only. So we should not develop any negative attitude towards anybody, to begin with in the Mahabharata. It was very, very thought-provoking, 10-15 minutes we were talking. Another aspect, another facet. This is an ocean. Bhagavad Gita is an ocean. That is why everybody is writing, 3 days back we got a packet from Nochur. He has written now about Bhagavad Gita, 3 volumes. Big book. Because everybody cannot contain this, the joy they get when they go through. God gives them a different perspective to them. And but we are, as Papa has beautifully said, everyone writes from their own. But since everyone is unique, each one may be able to derive some new dimensions in it. We will not stop with anything. There will be something, there will be something, there will be something. Now it is proved now, in our small attempt. Each one is suggesting one slogas, and through that sloga we are trying to understand better. So this helps us. That's something we will take it up tomorrow. Anything else?
Swamiji?
Oh.
Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyat jatmachetasa. Third chapter, 30 sloka. Kindly explain some more.
Third chapter,
Swamiji.
Time is now 4:35.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow we'll take it up. What is the chapter?
The third chapter, 30th sloka.
Third chapter?
30th shloka.
30th sloka. Okay.
Mai sarvani karmani.
Third chapter, 30th, 30. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chedasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasya vikatajvara. Oh. Surrender everything to me. Your indriyas, your manas. And be steadfast in the Atma Sakshatkar. Not giving in for desires, not me and mine. Don't think about it. Get rid of all this shoga, and your swakarma is to yuddhasva. You take part in the battle. Okay. We will see what more is there for us. Okay. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. So we started with our intense remembrance about Anandashram's opening on the 15th May 1931. It gives us an opportunity to gratefully remember Papa Mataji for having provided us this wonderful ashram, and also give us facilities to establish a wonderful relationship with the indwelling and all-pervading reality and my co-creation. Though I would not have made use of it fully or to the extent we are expected to, today I am reminded of the whole purpose, the ideal of the ashram, and the methodology to be adhered to, and always to rely on him, and finally to know that this is a home of love and bliss. These are the 4 things which we remember on this particular day. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Pranam, Pranam.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Namaskaram, Namaskaram. Oh, one more we have. Tomorrow we will read. One more we have. We did not have time. Padmaji has also done.